Have you got too much stuff? Lots of us have homes full of things we've collected and don't want to throw away. It's sometimes difficult to let go of possessions. Perhaps they remind us of someone we love, or we feel guilty about throwing away a present. Today, we're speaking to people who are giving things away and asking them what the most difficult thing has been. So, straight to caller 1.
I found it hard to throw away a t-shirt with my favourite band on it. Actually, they were my favourite band when I was a teenager. I can't stand their music now. Anyway, I bought it 30 years ago at a music festival, the first festival I'd been to. I bought it the day I arrived and wore it all weekend. It's full of holes now and it doesn't fit me, so there's no point keeping it. It's difficult to say goodbye to it because it reminds me of being young and having fun with my friends.
Thanks. Now, caller 2.
It's a drum I have called a djembe. I've had it since I was at university, and I went to Senegal on a research trip. I got it at a local market there. I fell in love with it as soon as I saw it. I bought it from the man who'd made it, and he showed me how to play it a bit. I thought I'd learn to play it properly, but I've never had the time. 8 years ago, the top broke, and I still haven't fixed it. I feel bad that it just sits at the back of a cupboard, so it's time for me to say goodbye and let someone else play it.
Thanks. Caller 3. How about you?
I found it difficult to give away something I've always hated. It's a small statue of a cat that my husband Danny gave me years ago when we first met. I've no idea why he gave it to me. I don't even like cats. Anyway, I kept it for 20 years, but when we moved house last year, I decided it was time to recycle it. I'm not sure why I kept it for so long. I suppose I felt guilty about throwing away the first present Danny gave me, but it was such a long time ago that I don't think he remembers.
I've worn silver rings all my life. I got this ring in a street market when I was living in Italy for a few months. I bought it to replace a similar one that I'd lost. This one belonged to my mother, and I inherited it when she died. It's not worth a lot, but it's very special to me. I borrowed this leather jacket from a friend when I was studying at university, and I never gave it back. It's a genuine 1980s leather jacket. When I was wearing it, I always thought it looked really cool. It's a bit damaged now, but I still love it. I have a beautiful lemon tree that a friend gave me as a birthday present. I'd told her that I'd always wanted to live in a house with a lemon tree. So, to make my dream come true, she bought me one. I was having a party to celebrate my 30th birthday, and in the middle of the party, my friend arrived and gave me the lemon tree in a pot. So, now I grow my own lemons.
I bought my Spanish guitar in a famous guitar shop in Madrid. Even when I open the case today, I can still smell the wood of the shop. I remember trying it out in a corner. I was quietly playing my favourite piece of music, as I didn't want to draw too much attention to myself. However, to my horror, the shopkeeper had listened to me playing, and he asked me, "Are you a professional?" Naturally, I bought the guitar quite soon after he'd asked that question. 6 months later, I returned to the shop to buy some new strings, and there was someone else trying out a guitar. He was playing a piece of music I knew, but he wasn't playing very well. The same shopkeeper was there and said to the man, "Wow, you must be a professional." Suddenly, I understood. I enjoy doing long-distance walks, preferably with friends. I bought these boots while I was travelling around New Zealand. I was about to head off for the Milford Track, quite a challenging 4-day walk, and my old boots fell to pieces. I had 1 day to find a new pair. Years later, I still have those boots. They're not in very good condition, and they're heavy, old leather boots. But they're still comfortable, and they're like old friends. I've had such great times with friends and family, walking, talking, and exploring. And this. It's an Italian mocha coffee pot. A friend gave it to me at university because he had watched me making instant coffee without much care or thought. He said, "The small ritual of a good coffee is too important to give up." We used to laugh at him for being so serious about things we thought were unimportant. But now, every time I use the pot, I realize that he was right. If you can't enjoy little things, then you will never be happy.
Conversation 1.
So, where shall we put this? How about the living room?
I'm not sure. We already have a lot of pictures in there. What about the bedroom?
The bedroom might be a good place for it. It is a lovely painting, but I'm not sure about the colours for the bedroom. I don't think it would go with our red wall.
That's true. I know. The office. We don't have much in there, and we can hang it over our desk.
Maybe, but I never use the office, and I want our guests to see it. There's a story behind the painting, so it would be a shame if no one ever saw it.
Well, I don't know where else to suggest. We need to find somewhere to put it. The toilet.
That would look silly, Pearl. I know, the hall. It can go on the wall in the entrance, so it's the first thing we see when we come in.
Great idea. Let's do that.
Conversation 2. How can I help, sir?
Well, I bought this picture and frame last week in your shop, but I can see a mark on the canvas. I'd like a refund.
Could I have a look, sir?
Of course. Yeah, you can see in the corner of the painting, there's a mark.
I'm afraid that mark wasn't there when you bought it, sir. We check all paintings before we take payment.
Well, the young girl who served me didn't, and it was only when I got home that I realised.
Well, do you have your receipt?
Of course not. It was a tiny piece of paper. I threw it away.
I'm very sorry about that, but unfortunately, I can't do anything about it.
That's ridiculous. Can I see the manager, please? I'd like to make a complaint.
Conversation 3.
OK, so we have 2 hours. What do you think we should do? I fancy some culture.
Well, there's an exhibition of photography in the town hall. It's about the oldest tribe in the Amazon. It looks fascinating.
Oh, I think I've been to that. It was excellent.
Well, if you don't want to go, there's another one with weird sculptures.
Sculptures aren't my thing. I find them pretty boring. Let's go to the one on photography. It was so good that I don't mind going back.
Conversation 4.
So, here we have one of the artist's last pieces before he died. You can see it's made from stone. It's likely that the 2 figures we can see are the artist and his life partner, who died in a tragic accident. It's possible that this was the artist's tribute to his partner. You can see that it's difficult to see whose legs and arms are whose, and I think this was the sculptor's intention. It seems to me he wanted to show how close the couple were. People say they were inseparable.
Today, we're looking at a sport that's becoming very popular, especially in Europe, floorball. It's fast, it's fun, and anyone can play. Margaret Kleist tells us more.
Floorball is a version of indoor hockey which is mostly played in Europe and Asia. The aim of the game is to score more goals than the other team. As you can guess by the name, floorball is a ball sport. It uses a small plastic ball and each player uses a stick. There are 6 players in a team, including the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is the only player who doesn't have a stick. The other players pass to a teammate or control the ball while running. Like hockey, you score by shooting the ball into the goal. Except for the goalkeeper, the players can't touch the ball with their hands. The rules are quite easy. To start the game, there's something called a face-off, where 2 players compete for the ball. Then the game continues until someone scores a goal. After that, the game restarts with another face-off. Floorball is played on a court that's about 40 metres long and 20 metres wide, and a match lasts an hour. 3 periods of 20 minutes. Fans of floorball come from all over the world, but especially from Sweden, Switzerland, and Finland, who have all been world champions.
Thank you, Margaret. It sounds really good, and the type of sport that many people would...
So, Lucy, what about this list of sports which tried to be included in the Tokyo Games? American football, bowling, snooker, chess, bridge?
Bridge? The card game?
Exactly.
That's not a sport. It's the kind of thing my gran plays with her friends over tea and biscuits.
I know, but Lucy, isn't that a good thing? We need sports for older people. Look at some of the sports the Olympic Committee has accepted recently. Surfing, climbing, skateboarding. They're all about young people. We get to the age of 35 and all our dreams of reaching the Olympics are gone.
Well, that's true. You know, the Olympics used to include arts competitions, not just sport.
Yes. In fact, the founder of the Olympics, Pierre de Coubertin, won a gold medal for writing a poem.
Really? What a fix. Do you think the judges were maybe just a tiny bit in his favour?
Almost certainly. But that's another thing about bridge, isn't it? I mean, there's no judging. There's a clear winner. And, you know, what performance-enhancing drugs help you win at cards?
Coffee and cake.
You see? This is the sport to give a fat middle-aged radio presenter hope of Olympic gold.
Hey, if they had arts prizes, maybe they could give one for radio presenting.
Why not? It's not the first job to be featured in the Olympics. Portugal won gold in a firefighter competition in 1912, for example.
Wow! Do you think they created an actual fire? That'd be great TV. I'd watch that.
Exactly. This is what we need to do. Broaden the Olympics for our times. Perhaps our listeners can suggest some other events related to jobs.
Hey, you could have a whole parenting Olympics, like buggy pushing.
Yes!
You know, a 60-metre race for a bus, pushing a buggy with a screaming baby while carrying a second child, 3 bags of shopping and child number 2's scooter.
Strength, speed, skill. It's everything a sport should be.
Mm-hmm.
You could even add some danger by making them go down some stairs.
Yeah, and you could get the kids involved too. See how far they can throw their ice cream.
This reminds me of sports days at school, when you would have, things like egg and spoon races and tug of war. They were great fun. Do you think they're just a British thing?
I don't know. I know they used to have the tug of war in the Olympics until the 1920s.
And who won that?
Britain, I think.
There you go. Probably no one else played it. It'd be the same if they ever introduced American football. A terrible idea.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you there, Ben, but we have our first caller. Faisal. Go ahead, Faisal.
Hello, and welcome to this week's podcast. Experience shows that to be a successful sports star, you have to train hard from an early age. But recently, many child and sports psychologists have argued that this is wrong. Here to explain further is child sports psychologist Dr. Gavi Ramirez. Welcome, Dr. Ramirez.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, in your recent article, Free to Play, you say that it's possible to produce sporting stars without training very young children in the sport. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Research shows that training children in one sport from a young age...
Sorry to interrupt, but when you say from a young age, what age are you thinking of?
Well, we see some children as young as 3 or 4 being trained in only one sport.
Thank you. Please do go on.
Yes. So, as I was saying, research shows that training children in one sport from a young age isn't good for their physical development.
Could you explain what you mean?
Yes. Young children need to develop their movement skills and their coordination. They do this by moving in all kinds of ways and by using lots of different play and sporting equipment. The best way to make sure they develop properly is to involve them in free play.
What do you mean by free play?
Free play is play without rules or being told how to play, unlike what happens when children are taught only one sport.
So, are you saying that children should not be taught any proper sports until they are much older?
No, I'm saying that the majority of their time should not involve only being taught one sport, as it will not teach them all the skills they need to learn.
OK, but there are a lot of children who are very talented at a particular sport. Are you suggesting that we shouldn't let them play that sport?
No. I think if a child shows talent, and more importantly interest, in any one sport, then they should be encouraged to play that sport, but only focus on a particular sport when they are much older.
So, at what age would you say they can start to focus on a particular sport?
When they become teenagers.
But many sports coaches would say that that's too late, and that talented sports stars need to start training much earlier.
I would disagree. No one should be expected to know what they want to do with their lives when they are children. In general, a child who is pushed too hard towards a sporting career can become a sporting failure by the time they are in their early 20s.
When you look at the lives of many of our sporting successes, they started training at a young age. Doesn't that suggest you're wrong?
Perhaps. But there are also many who fail due to being pushed too hard when they were young. Studies have shown that these young adults can experience mental health issues. This is because they have grown up only ever being told what they've done wrong, rather than what they've done right.
Very interesting. Thanks to my guest, Dr. Gavi Ramirez, and I hope you enjoyed this week's podcast. Next week, I'll be talking to the new entrepreneur.
1. Laura.
A couple of years ago, I was offered the chance to work remotely. I think my manager realised she could save money on office space. However, I prefer to work in the office unless I need to do something important at home. I've always liked to keep my personal life and work life separate because it helps me keep to a routine. I tend to lose concentration at home and I end up working irregular hours. It's easier to concentrate in the office, so I get more done in less time.
2. Jake.
If I had the choice, I'd rather have more flexible working conditions. However, my employers are quite formal and they expect us to be in the office by 9 o'clock. In case of an emergency at home, I can start late, but I have to have a good excuse. They're worried that if they're too flexible, we'll be too relaxed and we won't meet our deadlines. I guess they're right, but sometimes you need some flexibility, especially if you're a parent.
3. Louise.
When I started working for this company, I didn't expect my manager to be so strict. My last company was very professional, but the manager wasn't watching us all the time. In this company, my manager doesn't trust us at all, and he won't even let us go online. He thinks that staying offline will help us avoid distractions, but sometimes I need to switch off for 5 minutes. It's a shame because I used to like my job, but now I'm not interested.
4. Steve.
The nice thing about my job is that I don't have to keep to a routine. My company is very flexible and they let me decide when I work. Personally, I prefer doing some of my hours in the morning and the rest in the evening. That way, I can pick my children up from school and spend time with them in the afternoon. I have to be careful not to fall behind schedule, but I'm willing to work weekends if I need to catch up. Also, they can contact me by phone in case there's a problem.
5. Kelly.
I was pleased to get a work phone because it felt like I had more responsibility. The problem is that I'm not allowed to turn it off in case someone needs to contact me. Even at the weekend, I'm supposed to be available. The company should pay someone else to deal with emails and calls out of hours. However, they've become dependent on me because it doesn't cost them anything. I used to be enthusiastic about my job, but now I feel exploited.
Hello and welcome to the Planet Earth podcast. Today I'm discussing a film called Seaspiracy with Tracy and Daniel. Tracy, what's Seaspiracy about?
Well, it's a documentary about the shocking way humans treat the oceans. The film is shot in different locations around the world, looking at problems related to the sea and, in particular, fishing.
What did you learn?
The most important lesson is that unless we develop new habits, there won't be enough fish left in the sea in future. Although I'd been aware of some of the issues, I didn't realise how serious they were.
Like what?
It's interesting because the director, Ali Tabrizi, starts out by talking about the amount of plastic in the sea. He was intending to convince people to stop using so much of it. However, while he was filming, he realised that fishing was actually a more serious threat.
What's wrong with fishing?
The film gives us some amazing insights into how commercial fishing has become a problem. For example, some fishing boats use huge nets to lift everything from the bottom of the sea. Anything they don't want, like turtles and sharks, is just thrown back in. There's actually secret footage of this in the film, where you see these poor animals struggling to survive.
This film has been trending on social media. Why is that, Daniel?
Seaspiracy has been well produced, so it's not surprising that it's been so popular. It also makes some extraordinary claims about the fishing industry, which have got people talking. What's interesting is that a lot of people seem to disagree with the film's message.
In what way?
Well, they're annoyed because they think the film deceives its viewers. According to them, the filmmakers have only used the facts that support their views. They point out that the fishing industry has been improving its methods, but that the film doesn't show that.
Do you agree with that view yourself?
I think it's a good point. Although the film tells a powerful story, it's quite biased. The director clearly wants to show viewers that everything about fishing is wrong. In fact, he blames almost everyone for the problems, including some charities which are actually trying to help.
Do you share that view, Tracy?
Not really. Some people say documentaries should tell both sides of a story, but the general message is more important here. There's no doubt that fishing is threatening the future of our oceans, and the fishing industry needs to come clean about that. We can't continue to live a lie and tell ourselves that everything is okay. Even if the filmmakers have made some mistakes, it's essential that people know what's happening.
Thank you both very much. I'll look forward to seeing the film myself and...
Excuse me, I'm conducting a survey on how people spend their free time. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Okay. I'm just waiting for my friends. They're always late, so I should have a few minutes.
Right. Now, can I have your name?
It's Peter Harley. Harley.
And do you work, or are you a student, Peter?
Well, both, actually. I'm studying really hard for my exams this month. I'm doing maths at university. But I also help my parents out. They own a restaurant and I work there as a waiter in the evenings. So I don't get a lot of free time during the week.
It sounds as if you're very busy.
Yes, I am. And my mum's always saying I don't help enough in the restaurant. But I do manage to find some free time most days.
Great. Now, can you have a look at this list and tell me whether you do any of these things? And if so, how often?
Sure. Okay. Well, I love music, and I'm learning to play the piano. I get up really early and practice for an hour or so, just about every day. I also play the guitar in a band with some other friends. We used to practice together at least 3 times a week, but these days we only manage to meet about once every 2 weeks.
What about the next thing on the list? Computer games. I assume you're too busy to play them.
Well, I used to play them all the time, but now I'm too busy studying, and I don't miss them at all.
And do you use a computer for other things?
I use the internet just about every day for my studies, and I also use it to keep in touch with my friends and family. My cousin is living in Thailand at the moment, and he sends me regular emails to let me know how much fun he's having. He's always visiting exciting places.
Yes, the internet is making it much easier for people to stay in touch with each other. Now, how about team sport?
Actually, I joined the local football team when I was at school, and I still play once a month, provided I can get to training. I much prefer playing football to watching it on TV, though I do occasionally watch a match if there's a big final or something.
What about going to watch live matches?
I'd love to be able to afford to go every week because I support my local team, but students don't generally have much money, you know. I can't remember the last time I went to a live match. Oh, sorry, I can see my friends. I have to go now.
Thank you for your time.